How are we doing, guys? ALTV, Sheff United versus Leeds, and this is my match preview of the game. So, let's get straight on with the team news. Pontus Jansson is back. Absolutely massive news. And the timing couldn't be any better, in all honesty. I know Calvin's done really well. I know Liam Cooper's done really well when they've stepped in. Well, not really stepped in, but they've, we've not really felt Pontus's absence, over the last two games against Bristol City, Reading. We've looked pretty comfortable defensively in both games, but Sheff United is a totally different test. They've probably got the best front two, or one of the best front twos in the league in terms of functionality. David McGoldrick, Billy Sharp, it's 16 goals so far. They've been contributed between each other. 11 for Billy Sharp, 5 a bit David McGoldrick, and considering they haven't played every game, they've been sometimes rotated, that is a pretty incredible statistic, and it shows the threat they do possess. So I am happy to have Pontus available, absolutely. Whether he sits in alongside Liam Cooper and Calvin Phillips or comes in for one of them to allow Calvin Phillips to push up, I don't know. But it's got to be good news having Pontus back for this game. So the team I'd go with, let's get straight on with that. I'm going to go with a 4-1-4-1 system, as we have done pretty much all season. There is a shout to go for a back three. We know what Bielsa likes to do. He likes to have that extra centre back and the other team are strikers, but I'm not going for that today. Well, not today, but against Sheff United. Because I don't think the 3-3-1-3 has worked for us so far this season. The only time it's remotely looked close to working is against Ipswich, and Ipswich bottom of the table. Can we really take much from that? I don't think we can. Just functionally, it just doesn't seem to work. There's still certain characteristics in the team, I think, that stop us playing that system. In terms of playing the ball out the back, it's not quite quick enough, it's not quite sharp enough, it's not 1 touch, 2 touch, it's 3 touch, 4 touch. And we're not getting that ball up the pitch quick enough in a back three for me. And that's all it's all about in the back three. It's all got to be all about fluidity. But we're not getting that fluidity in the back three at the moment. And I think 4-1-4-1 looks so much more comfortable, particularly going forward defensively in almost every aspect, playing for back four. So the team I'll go with, Bailey Peacock-Farrell, Stuart Dallas, Pontus Jansson, Liam Cooper, Barry Douglas, Calvin Phillips holding, Pablo, Mattis Click, Sam Saiz, Jack Clark I'd go with on that left-hand side or on the right-hand side, and Kemal Roof up top. Now there's two controversial selections there. Sam Saiz in for Adam Forshaw, Jack Clark in for Alioski. I'll start with Sam Saiz. There's one clear reason I'm going for this. I think Adam Forshaw has been absolutely exceptional the last couple of games. If anything, I think he's been our best player over the last couple of games. But it's all about what gets the best out of the team in this particular game. And for me, Samuel Saiz will get the best out of this team. I think he just has that slightly different characteristics to Adam Forshaw. He was able to dribble with the ball. He was able to get up 15, 20 yards up the pitch, and that's so crucial. Look at that Sheffield United midfield too. The two that sort of sit in behind the central winger. It tends to be John Fleck, Oliver Norwood. Both very technically gifted, both very defensively aware, and both very experienced. But what I don't think they like is players running at them. And Sam Saiz will do that. He will draw fouls. He will get them on an early booking. Something that will take the whole momentum of the game away from them. From my point of view, that's why I would go with that. Now Jack Clark over Alioski. For me, it's a no-brainer. It probably won't happen. I think Marcelo quite rightly sees Jack Clark as more of an impact player, but Eshjan Alioski is not playing well at the moment. I've did that video on why we should appreciate Eshjan Alioski, and I still think there's aspects to Eshjan Alioski's game that I think are underappreciated, but he's just not playing well at the minute. It's quite simple. It's two very, very poor performances out of two. I wasn't impressed at all with the dive. I don't understand the dive. It's not good enough for me. Second time that's happened this season. Well, second time it's been highlighted this season. It frustrates me that. But Jack Clark has just shown so much more bravery on the ball, and it looks so much better in terms of fluidity when Jack Clark is on that pitch for me. He's just willing to take on his fullback, willing to link up play, willing to get the fullback involved in the game. Stuart Dallas looks so much more comfortable playing behind Jack Clark because Jack Clark's a different kind of player. He's able to run it a player, and that's what we need a little bit more of in this team, I feel. Bravery on the ball. Not necessarily bravery passing the ball, someone who's willing to take that ball and dribble 20, 30 yards, and that's what Jack Clark will do. Is then products getting there? Some quality balls into the box against Reading, and when we play us on the left or right, I think Jack Clark will have a more positive impact on this game than Eshjan Alioski, than Jack Harrison. Now, in terms of Sheffield United, the way they set up, they're very much a sort of 3-5-2 kind of team. 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, both very good going forward. Kieran Freeman's on the right-hand side. Edna Stevens on the left-hand side, who's already on 5 assists this season. Ollie Norwood and John Fleck, as I've already mentioned, playing slightly deeper, and a central winger in Mark Duffy just in behind the two strikers. So what is it about this team that's got them so high up the table? The width, for me, from starters. They're getting contributions from the fullbacks, out wide. It's not just a case of creating space. They are actually getting involved in goal-scoring situations. And then you have to look at the goals as well. That front two is a massive threat, and they are getting the best out of that front two. The wing-backs are getting balls into the box, into McGoldrick. They're finding that through ball into Billy Sharp as well. And the main thing is, for me, it's a central winger. A player I know a lot about, Mark Duffy. He played from the local team, Southport, years ago, probably I think 10 years ago since he made, no, probably 12 years ago since he made his debut, and he's shown me all the signs he did when he was at Southport. He's such an energetic player, able to press high up the pitch. He was more of a winger when I watched him, but he seems to be more of a central winger now, and he caused absolute havoc against us in both games last season, home and away, particularly when we were at home. I think he set up both goals, and he just run us ragged that night. Wherever the ball goes, he goes as a central winger. He can go onto the right, he can go onto the left, or he can go through the middle, very much like Harvey Barnes. Maybe he's not at Harvey Barnes' level, but he can be the game changer for this game for Sheffield United. So for me, Calvin has got to do a job on Mark Duffy. Another reason I'd probably just go back onto the Adam Forshaw situation. I just think it gets the better out of Mattis Click and some say. Conor's touched on it, but Calvin Phillips is that bit more of a natural holding midfielder. He's got that little bit more physicality. I think that's key in a game like this, because Sheffield United's strength is that physicality. They bullied us in both games last season, quite frankly. In fact, most teams bullied us last season, but Sheffield United especially did. And for me, Calvin won't be bullied in that middle of the park, and he can man-mark Mark Duffy. And that'd be an interesting battle. That's another reason for me to go with a natural holding midfielder in this game. And bring on Adam Forshaw. If we're ahead in the game, bring on Adam Forshaw to manage the game. Bring on Eshjan Alowski to offer that a bit more defensive awareness for Jack Clark. Just because I'm not selecting him in the starting 11 does not mean I don't want him coming on at all in the game. But I think it'd be better to bring them on to manage the game if we need to. And the last thing I'm going to touch on in terms of this game is stopping the fast start. Both games last season, Sheffield United scored within the first 3 minutes. Both awful goals, both in situations where we'd lost our discipline, we'd lost our shape far too easily. And it's similar happens to West Brom, maybe not early on in the game, but we lost our shape. The gap between the centre-backs became too big. And maybe that is a restriction of playing four at the back against Sheffield United's front two, that the centre-backs might get stretched again. But we've got to learn from that West Brom game. And if we get a result in this, or if we even better get a win, it shows real progress for me. It shows more progress than probably any win we've managed all season in terms of character, mentality, and learning. Showing our adaptability. I've spoken about Bielsa's plan B of inverted wingers. I think he's starting to get more and more willing to go against his traditional, left winger's got to be left-footed, right winger's got to be right-footed. He's going against that now. It's not as much an obsession with width, I don't feel, with this team now. I think they're more seeing what we can do in the middle of the park now. Moving the ball around a little bit more in the middle of the park, trying to stretch the midfields, opposition midfields out a bit more. And it works against Reading and Bristol City, and I'd like to see us start with that kind of shape again in this Sheffield United game. It might be a very attacking team, but we've got to attack them at the end of the day for me. That's the way I see it anyway. And just to finish off with some good news for all you viewers as well. We've teamed up with the Terrace Store, and we've got a discount through the Terrace Store as well. 10% off if you go onto the Terrace Store website and use the discount code ALLTV, all one word, all capital letters. You'll get yourself 10% off. And Terrace Store, if you're not aware of what they offer, it's pretty much anything retro, some of it current, but mostly retro to do with Leeds. So we're talking jumpers, we're talking mugs, we're talking beer mats, we're talking pretty much anything you can think of to do with Leeds. The Terrace Store will have it. If you can't really find what you're sort of looking for, just go onto the website, search for Leeds, and probably, I think it's 10, 12, 15 pages will come up with Leeds memorabilia. We're talking stuff from the 90s. As I mentioned already, make sure you check that out. 10% off. Make sure you don't miss out on the opportunity. Christmas is coming up. There's some quality Christmas jumpers, if I do say so myself. And they recently released a Mattis Click t-shirt and a new Mattis Click range as well. Something I will be getting on, definitely. So don't miss out. Make sure you check that out. If you didn't catch all that, the description, the link will be in the description for that. I've been Oscar Marriott. Check out Joe's review of the game, preview of the game, Conor's preview of the game, and I'll see you later.